quickly dive into what is your mental state like with music before personal.
So I'm quite a strong-willed person. Most of the stuff that if not, all of the stuff that I write about is honest. It's experiences, it's inspiration. There's a few deep bits. With the even Freak to some extent, even though it's got that sort of poppy vibe to it, innit? It's a real message. It's real stuff that I'm trying to put out there.
So, what about personal wise? That's a different battle because as a musician, you battle something different.
Yeah.
Then personal wise, it's different as well.
Yeah. So on a personal level, in it, it's a strong word in it. Starting out as a musician, it was an awful lot of trying to work out what I'm doing as I'm doing it, if that makes sense. It was a lot of kind of doing one thing and then scrapping it and trying again, and then almost doing the same thing and then scrapping that, and just sort of almost seeing where we've ended up. And almost that's what Young Freedom is. It's the epitome of sort of trial and error and seeing where we've ended up.
Okay. As a musician, you go through stages of experimenting with different stuff. Now, when you're writing,
yeah,
and you enjoy writing, you sound like you enjoy writing.
I love writing, man. Yeah.
So, what is your process when you're going through writing blogs? What do you do?
Oh, bro, I hate writer's block. It's writer's block. It's probably one of the things that stresses me out the most. Because I can't speak for other artists, but it definitely takes me a while to get out of it. But for me, there's a few things that I go straight to doing, and without sounding egotistical, if I get writer's block, the first thing that I'll do is go back and listen to all of the songs that I've already made, got back, mixed and mastered, and I listen to them all from beginning to end, and I think, right, why did I write this? What pushed me to write this? What made me feel the way that I had to write this? I'll go back and read through my lyrics and think, right, what am I topicizing about? What am I writing about? Why was I writing about this? I obviously felt a way about this. Doesn't always work. Bonus that, I'm a musician, I can actually play, so I will then sit and channel some of that energy out and make an instrumental. Won't use it, like I was saying before, it'll probably go to the back of the vault. But I just find it therapeutic, and it's like a release of getting stuff out. Maybe I'll go quiet for a couple of weeks, and then I'll come back when I've got something. I'm definitely a firm believer in, if it's not working for me, then don't feel pressured to have to push something out, because it doesn't always, and it'll come out worse than before. Some people, they say you need to be on the ball, every week, doing this, every month have a song coming out. Yeah, I agree to some extent, innit? But I also think that who knows you better than you know yourself, innit?
Mm-hmm. You know yourself
so if you know that it's not working, you would be a fool to keep trying to push it and keep making it work. It's just going to make it worse in the long run. It's going to make it take longer in the long run.
But when people have something to prove, they want to supply demand. So, you want to supply the people because I got the waves, I got the buzz. I want people to like right now, your Freak is doing good. Personally, I expect you next month or so, something else to follow up the Freak.
Yeah, it's interesting to say that, isn't it? I've always got, and I've got into the habit of having stuff in the bank that's ready to go. So if something does happen, I can push it out. I'm definitely focusing on promo Freak at the minute, innit? But I'm not saying that there's not stuff on the way. There's already stuff good to go in it, in the vault.
Oh, is that exclusive, yeah?
Yeah, come on. A video from the EP, another one still. But yeah, so, what you were saying about writer's block, so even when you do get those times when you think, oh, I can't do this anymore, or at least it's not working for the minute, I've still got stuff from before the EP that's all mixed and mastered that I haven't put out. that still now I'm thinking I should probably put them out sometime in it, but it's finding time to do it. But it's all,
Yeah,
it's about having a plan, I think.
Yeah, it's not about having a plan. And on top of it, if you know what you're doing, then you don't have, I'm just saying, like, when something is going well for you, you wanted to make sure you follow it up. And
Consistent, isn't it?
yeah, you have to be consistent, because then people wanted to know what you've got to do, what you've got coming next.
That's something that I'm bad at, innit? There's me talking about being well organised. I'm one of the worst people for organisation, and my consistency hasn't always been the best, innit? But it's a learning curve for me. I'm definitely out here trying.
Now, with all this, you've talked about having a lot of music in the vault, but still, you still feel at times you wanted to quit music.
More than once, man. More than once. And I probably will again, innit?
Yeah, but what's the problem? It's just, I know, as a musician, I've heard loads of musicians, say, what, after this EP, I'm retired, I'm done. Is that part of you going through the same process of, my expectations, or what you expect people to, you want this music to do well, and it's not doing what you expect it to be, then I've gone through this effort to give people music, and I'm not getting nothing back in return. You know what? I'm out here. I might as well just go back to flipping burgers.
Yeah, I hear that. Do you know what? Yeah, multiple times in it. But all these questions, man, they get me thinking, and I love it. I wouldn't say I'm ready to quit yet, definitely. No matter what I feel about the music, no matter how it kicks me down or whatever. But I am a firm believer in, if I need to take time for myself, I'm gonna take time for myself. I'm gonna go quiet for a bit. I'm gonna get my feelings together. I'm gonna get my thoughts together. I'm gonna get my mental state together, and I'm gonna come back again. And I believe that as long as you come back again with double the strength that you had when you left, you haven't got too much to worry about, presuming that you don't leave it too long in it. But if you've got stuff in the vault when you're taking a break, then you've still got stuff to put out in it. Taking a break doesn't mean you have to stop releasing music. It might just be, I'm feeling away at the minute, my writing's not at its best, I need to go back to the lab and take some time, rest up, but still, over the next couple of months there'll still be videos coming out that I've already done, or singles out that we've already got recorded and mastered, you know what I mean?
Do you not feel like it's a false narrative then if you said, I'm quitting music, I'm giving this up, and then it's different from taking a break? Because if you said to people, I'm taking a break, now it's understandable, right? Because people know, like, like you said, in this era, people are respectful of people taking a break for their mental state. It's big on right now.
Yeah.
So
massive, isn't it?
you could easily say, I'm taking a break. But I think at times when you're going through the emotions, you just thought, I'm scrapping everything.
I give it up. Forget it all, innit?
Go on.
Me personally, no matter how, I can't even talk about it because I don't know personally, but I would, at the minute, touch wood, I've never quit completely. I feel like I've done too much to quit completely, and I've tried too many different things that haven't worked to quit completely, but I would definitely sit and have that conversation with myself, in my room, and think, banging my head against the wall saying, I quit, freedom, you can't do this, I'm not doing this, I give up, you're awful. But I think for me to get to that point, I would have had to have consistently tried, and something to have just been, niggling me in the back of the head saying, this ain't worth it. And at the minute, I don't feel like what I'm doing isn't worth it. You get me?
Okay then. So, then what makes you feel like people give you anxiety?
Oh mate, who doesn't give me anxiety? I am a self-conscious person, innit? And I'm constantly listening to other artists' music, I'm constantly listening to different styles of music, and I'm a great believer of like taking inspiration from other people. You know, it's not a lot of people. So let me go off on a tangent slightly. Not a lot of people like it. A lot of people have something to say about it. I'm a big fan of like Machine Gun Kelly, Kid Laroi. That sort of. I've always been into.
You know what? You just give me what I'm about to say about your style of music. You got that Machine Gun Kelly style whereby it can dip in and dip out in between that alternative vibe, and then it can just dip in back into hip hop because you got the flow for both, and it can just merge.
And I'm not even saying like flow types, because his, you know, the way that he spits bars is incredible, man. Like, I mean, you know, absolute inspiration to it. I cannot do it like that. And I wouldn't advertise that I could in it. You know, a lot of people will disagree with that, innit?
He's out here. He's crazy.
He's savage, innit? But if you look at his last, I don't know, 3 albums plus his EP, and then, you know, proper rap albums, innit? And then look at his latest one. It's all like pop rock, punk rock, innit? All guitars and drums, full band. He's got Travis Barker from Blink-182 in it. It's a complete different thing, innit? So that's. I fully forgot the question, innit? Anxiety, innit? It's the same thing with people's music. I'll listen to it and I'll find inspiration somewhere, and then I'll try and do a song like that, innit? And it won't quite work. And I'll be like, oh man, why am I trying to do it like this, innit? Even though my heart is 100% in it. I love that type of music. It just might not work that time, innit? But if you take 6 shots, for example, innit? That's, you could argue that's very similar to that sort of vibe, innit? I've already done it, so I know that we can do it. I know that it's been there. But I don't know. I take criticism really badly. I tend to, and I've done it before, innit? I will ask for advice. Doesn't always mean I'm going to take advice. Innit? That's something that I need to learn on, innit? But at the same time, I feel like too many people, if they ask your advice, or if you ask their advice, sorry, they sort of have this expectation that you need to take it. Oh, you asked my advice, why haven't you taken it? It's like, I've asked for it. That doesn't mean I'm going to follow through it. I want to get a broader picture of what people think, and ultimately, I'm going to do what I want to do anyway. It might work, it might not. How am I going to find out unless I do it?
So do you go out asking for advice, and then the people that you ask advice from, when they see you doing the opposite of what they said to you, they feel the type of way?
Sometimes, but don't even get it like, I'm not out there asking every next man for advice, innit? It's not even like that. I'm just putting it into...
In the context.
Yeah. But, you know, you've got to be in a position where you need to ask for advice, but I think too many people see it one-sided and think that if it's their advice that you ask for, then you're expected to take it, and I don't always agree with that. I think that it's one thing to ask for advice, but you shouldn't, you know, you're asking for advice, and you know, that's it. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, but all I'm saying, you know, because you said earlier on that you believe on people being who they are, then, you know, it's like people, are you one of them?
I care too much about what people think.
Exactly. But at the same time, you want people to be themselves.
Yeah.
But are you always yourself?
No.
Do you see now?
And that's something definitely that I need to work on, isn't it? I'm gonna start tallying the amount of times that I say that's something that I need to work on, isn't it? there's a lot of things that I need to work on by the sound of things. It's one of my flaws, isn't it? But we're all human, and you know, yeah, we're artists, but we're human. You know, we make mistakes, we backtrack on things. I definitely backtrack on things. I ask for advice and then think, oh, probably, you know, don't really want to do that, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Make decisions that probably aren't the best decisions to make. Like I said earlier, only one way to find out, innit? You've got to dive straight in.
Okay. Now, you said something about being an independent. You've been putting music out as an independent. Have you been signed to anyone before?
Not a big label, no. but this is gonna right. So
You don't have to put the names on it. You can just talk about your issues around it, but you don't have to put people's names into it because you don't want to cause frictions. So respectfully.
it's all love to all people involved in it. I thought I was making a choice that was a decent choice, Ultimately, I just got sucked up into the idea of being the label in it, and money hasn't always been, well, money ain't easy for me in it. So that that came into it as well. There was I'm not saying there was like promises of delusion grandeur in it, but there was definitely some bits that worked that worked its way into it. And it was almost as it was one of those occasions where I definitely feel that sometimes life gives you signs in it. It's either a good sign or a bad sign, and I agreed to this thing, and the minute I did it, it kind of this wave of anxiety and stress just came over me in it, and I was sat there thinking, maybe I shouldn't have done this,